How's it going, guys? Mask here again. Now today we are going to start something I've really wanted to put together. This is going to be my farming series where I'm going to go through the Legendary Duelists and outline what their biggest threats are, what you have to look out for, and we're going to start it off with Odion. And we're going to farm this Odion using YuGiOh, who I currently have set up on Draw Sense low level with my super speed Cerberus deck. I'll give you guys a run through of the deck list as before we go into here, but yeah, honestly, this deck focuses on getting it done as absolutely fast as possible, still making sure we get over that 8k point threshold. So let's go and check out the deck list. And here we are. We're going to check out the deck list for my super speed Cerberus deck. I do run 3 Cerbs in this deck setup. It will work just as fine with 2. I find 3 just really gets me to draw that Cerb. Draw 1 Cerberus naturally and not have to depend on low life. But the nice thing about this deck is even if you get the first Cerb out, the second you draw your lithographs, you can lower your own life points, activating the draw skill, and get your second one out on the field. 3 is just, I find, I feel safer and more consistent on 3. This deck could potentially run 2 Cerberus, and you could add in a Jar of Greed, speed it up a little. But the whole point of this is let's get this Cerberus farm done as quickly and as efficiently as possible. It runs triple Shard of Greed, 1 Jar of Greed. I've play tested it with 2 Jars of Greed many times. It does work, but there will be the odd time you find yourself drawing the deck a little awkward. Shard of Greeds come late. If you get a combination of the Shard of Greeds coming too late to play and taking a hit early, therefore being unable to play 1 or 2 of your Hieroglyph Lithographs, you might run into a problem with not being able to get to the 10k. I found that was completely solved by only running 1 Jar of Greed. But essentially, this deck is it's crazy quick. It gets the job done. And it's an option, it's an old school option that pretty much everyone has access to. But like I said, Timidy's in this deck. It's just a unconditional, generic, playable spell card. So any spell card that can be played without any conditions required. That in the spellbook kind of falls under the same category. I just have it. It's nice. It will single-handedly buff a single Cerb into the safety zone for you, if need be, if you're ever stuck. And it's glossy, of course. The shards, if you don't have 3 shards, you can simply sub the Shard of Greed out for any other unconditional playable magic card. Once again, they're just there for speed. First, you want to establish your consistency, and then you just keep subbing in cards to make it as absolutely quick as possible. That's the goal with this deck setup. Of course, Fusion Gate, Polymerization, interchangeable. That doesn't make a difference at all. But yeah, here it is, and let's head into that Odion farm and check it out. Oh, and one last thing, of course, this deck can be used with Draw Sense Low, Draw Sense Light, and Sorcery's Conduit. I currently have it on Draw Sense Low just because I want to get some experience on my YuGiOh. I'm actually going to start us off with a quick clip, guys, of the worst case scenario when farming Odion. It's essentially a more or less automatic lose condition when you're going second against him, and it's because of his trap card Embodiment of Apophis. So we'll check this out before we go into how to actually farm with this deck. So, I mean, this will not the worst start. We open up with a Cerberus, but we don't actually have any spell cards to play. So we're going to go ahead and not throw the Cerberus onto the field. And honestly, we actually just dodged a bullet, barely here. There is a condition when fighting Odion, guys, that you almost saw happen, extremely close, where basically you can automatically lose in an Odion farm attempt no matter what if you go second. You go second, you don't draw Cerb, you're up against, at this point you're up against Odion without the ability to draw, and he's just going to set a Embodiment of Apophis, play 1 monster, summon a 3rd monster on his second turn, and 1-hit kill you. There's not really much of a way to play around that. Can't really do anything about it. Alright, let's get to it. We're going to jump into this Odion farm. Odion's Embodiment of Apophis, level 40 deck. Now, like I said, the big thing with this deck setup is just speed. Get it done quick. because you know you got to do it again and again. And I gotta say, this is one of the most beautiful opening hands we could have asked for. Both of these Shards of Greed are going to instantly get this Cerberus into the safety zone. Against Odion, the safety zone is inevitably 2 spell counters. At only 1 spell counter and 1900 attack, your Cerberus can be killed. When he's using the Castle of Dark Illusions combined with one of his tribute monsters, they will hit for over 1900. Doesn't happen often, but inevitably the safety zone for your Cerberus against Odion is 2 spell counters. So what I like to do at this point is hold on to as many cards as I can until we get the second Cerberus out. That's one of the most vital parts, and this is just a beautiful draw. This farm is gonna fly by. Typically, I'd want to hold on to that Shard of Greed until we get a third Cerb out, but I like to play the draw cards right away, get them going, get it quick. But now we will hoard as many cards as we can, setting cards to make room in our hand until we get the second Cerberus. That's the important part. That's how you're guaranteeing you're always going to have enough attack on your Cerb before you go in. Because keep in mind, this deck is a balancing act between speed and getting just enough attack to efficiently pull the farm off. So clearing that room up, we still don't have to activate a card, only having 6 in our hand. We're waiting for that third Cerb to pop up. Coming in quite the bottom of the deck here, actually. At this point, I'm actually going to pop Hieroglyphic Lithograph. That will 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That will allow me to safely continue the match on through these 7 cards. Hieroglyphic Lithograph giving you the ability to hold 7 cards. There we go. Our second Cerberus is going to pop up. And now we only activate enough cards to put him into the safety zone, and we're going to continue to hoard as many as we can in our hand until we get that last Cerberus. So 2400, that is safety zone. We'll just set these unconditionally playable cards, guaranteed not to clog our field, and hope to draw for the third Cerberus before we finish this off. And actually, because we use the Hieroglyphic Lithographs, we can simply pull the third Cerb by our skill. Nice way. You can self-activate the skill because you're also going for low life on this farm. And now that we have all 3 Cerbs out, go crazy. Activate all your magic cards. And yeah, we're going to have Fusion Gate coming out here. The Book of Secret Arts we can play. Don't forget to equip it to your main Cerb. Although at this point, it really doesn't matter. Our guy's going to blow past 10,000, no problem. And yeah, we just have 2 more draws left. See, the great thing about this deck is the speed. One of the things I always dreaded about farming with Cerberus is it just took forever. Such a slow farm. You have to activate like a million spell cards, draw every card one by one. So with 3 Shards of Greed and Jar of Greed, you're essentially skipping... Well, I mean, Shard of Greed skips a double draw phase. So you're skipping 2, 4, 6, 7 draw phases to farm Cerberus. That's almost cutting it in half. Actually, it pretty much is, because your starting hand's 4 cards. It's only leaving 16 left. You skip 7 draw phases. That's basically 50% of your draw phases. Anyhow, at this point right here, you have a decision to make. We're going to tribute summon Meteor Dragon, so we can fusion summon Meteor B Dragon, but you have to ask yourself, is my Cerberus going to be a better Roku target, my third Cerb, a better Roku target than Meteor B Dragon? Sometimes it will be, sometimes it won't be. If you weren't able to hoard cards properly, Meteor B Dragon has 3,500 attack. Just do the math. It's easy to figure out. But we'll come through on Fusion Gate, get out our Meteor Dragon. That just secures those extra bonus points. And obviously we have our second Cerberus to Roku, which will shoot our Cerb well over 10k to complete this farm. And honestly, Odion is one of the relatively easy Legendary Duelists to farm at level 40. He doesn't have many threats for you. He does have a guaranteed turn 3 kill on you, though. If you go second against Odion, and he sets a monster, which he'll often do to start off with, set Embodiment of Apophis, he ends his turn. If you didn't draw Cerberus, which of course will happen, he will then flip up Embodiment of Apophis, play a third monster, and kill you in 1 turn. So that's inevitable. You're going to lose to that, but nice. Here it is, and that spell card, the name of which was eluding me, Temple of the Kings. We do manage to pull that here, but 8,400 guys, pretty easy, pretty fast to pull off. I know it was using 900 points in Prismatic and Glossy, but in a Cerberus deck, it's extremely easy to hit that because your options for spell cards are just so vast. You got Timidy ×3 in this deck. Hieroglyphic Lithograph, which you can sub in for Abyssal Designator, Or there's another spell card of options, all which come from standard duelists, so the chances are you have glossy versions of those cards. Hieroglyphic Lithograph you farm from a Shizu. There's no real need for it. I put it in because it allows me to hoard cards more, but as you guys see, my Cerb hit well over 10k, so the hoarding didn't even need to be that efficient. Just something you do to help, because there are times when it gets a little tighter on the damage, and that hoarding is going to help you push into that over 10k range. But there you have it, guys. That's going to be my video for farming Odion. We solved all his traps, well done. And that was my super speed Cerberus deck. I'm going to try to change it up when I go through this farming series. We're going to go through all the legendary duelists, and I just introduce different decks and kind of let you know which duelists they're all usable against. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I'm looking forward to completing this series, continuing to work through all these farming videos. Let me know anything you think I can change, how things are going for you in the comments below. And yeah, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to check us out on Twitch. Come hang out on the stream, guys. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, as always, stay classy.